Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, November the 15th, 2022. Tuesday, November the 15th. Well, Brick, well, actually, I guess I should say Stephen A. Sportscaster announcer Stephen A., aka Brick, is back in Port Charles. I love it when he comes back because he loves playing suave, smooth, debonair, complimenting all the ladies, especially all the ladies Sonny is with. Just look, Brick was all over Carly for years, all over her. And then he meets Nina and he plays the role so well. Ooh, beautiful and goodness, talented. He's gushing Nina with all kind of compliments and she's just eating it up. One of Sonny's friends, a new friend I haven't met. Gotta let him know I'm with Sonny. Yeah. And so Sonny gives Brick all the accolades. She owns he says he invites her to have lunch with him and Sonny. And Nina goes, well, but I might have to just run away for hotel business. And he's like, that's right. You are the new co-owner of the Metro Court. And then when they sit down, Sonny says, yeah, she also is the editor-in-chief of Crimson Magazine. And he goes, how do you find the time? She goes, well, I know fashion. I know, I know that market. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you sure didn't 4 or 5 years ago, right? Nina didn't know fashion at all when she became the editor of Crimson. Who put her over Crimson? Was it Valentine? Valentine wanted to give her something to do. Was that it? You know what, everybody, refresh my memory. Who put Nina over Crimson? Because bottom line, she didn't know it ins and outs to nothing. And Maxie had to teach her fashion. She had to teach Nina to do it. Maxie was the true brains behind Crimson. Okay. But anyway, they just did a whole repeat of Sonny's storyline because back when Kate Howard was editor-in-chief, she ended up with half of Crimson because of Jax getting back at Carly, so she was running the magazine and the hotel at the same time, her half. But anyway, so, they had an interesting conversation, just a little banter, nothing going on, with that conversation. But Britt was kind of giving him a pulse check on his organization internationally. And he was saying, what's going on here in Port Charles? And Sonny's like, yeah, well. And it is what it is. But Sonny is not, he ain't hurting too much. He definitely is relaxed about it. He's like, Michael get tired of pulling his tantrum, and then I'll go right back to business as usual. Sonny actually is handling Michael's trying to kill his organization very well. He really is. He didn't take Michael out, didn't have him kidnapped and thrown somewhere. He's actually handled it very, very well. So then we also have Michael and Willow. Let's see. Willow should know now what she has been missing all along. Michael's making her drink these god-awful concoctions to help boost the immune system and folic acids and antioxidants and all this good stuff for her and the baby, right? And he's been doing research on the internet, see stuff she's been afraid to do too much because nobody could see what she's searching, right? But Michael is being Michael. This is the Michael Corinthos that I like. Absolutely positively. And he's like, we really need to also start to poll, let's see if we can get some people getting tested. He's really trying to be proactive. And so she's like, well, I don't want them looking at me as Cancer Willow. Well, Cancer Willow, that's what you are. You're Cancer Willow. That's just like saying, I don't want to tell people we're pregnant, Michael, because I don't want them looking at me like I'm pregnant Willow. Well, you're pregnant Willow. You're Cancer Willow. I'm just like, oh my goodness, would you stop? So she told Michael, I want to find, you know what? I want to start to reach out, see if I could find some of my family. And she remembered the first commune her mother was in, when she was a baby, one of the first. And she goes, maybe we could start there, to see if some of the people could give me a link to where I may have come from. And he goes, so then what would you do? I would contact them and see if they could, possibly get tested. And I'm thinking, what kind of sense does that make? So you would rather find a complete stranger that you don't know, knock on their door. Hey, you don't know me, but I think I'm a long lost relative, or your mother years ago may have had me, thrown me in a commune. I need to get in touch with your mother, okay? Or your father may have had an affair with my mother that I don't know who she is. I need to get in touch with your father because he might be my daddy, okay? Because look, I need all of y'all to get tested so you can go through a painful procedure for me because I have leukemia stage 4. How would that work on a stranger? She thinks that will work better on a stranger than the people that already love her. That stranger is going to look at her and say, are you crazy, Cancer Willow? Are you crazy? Now, there are a lot of donors that have good hearts and would say, hey, look, I'm going to get tested. I mean, people that aren't close to other people get tested to see if they're compatibility, to see if they're compatible with whatever that person needs. That's just the way humanity is, right? But the reasoning they're having her not tell the people closest to her is ridiculous and it's stupid. It's ridiculous and it's stupid. And then this alternative she's coming up with sounded even stupider to me. So then Drew comes in because poor little Leo, he's a little upset, depressed. Well, not depressed, but he's a little sad and down because he thinks that Michael and Drew are mad at him because, look, they're mad at Ned, and Ned is his dad, So he just feels they're mad at him too. And Drew is talking to him like, no, Leo, we're good. No, are you kidding? You're my bud. And he's like, yeah, but then why are you still so mad at my dad? He goes, well, you know what? That's different. But look, it has nothing to do with you. And so he goes, look, even though your mom and your dad were mad at each other, because he goes, well, my mom and my dad were mad at each other. They got divorced, whatever. He goes, yeah, but look, they're back together again and everything's okay. And he goes, so you can get back together again with my dad, And so they come in and Leo tells Michael pretty much the same thing. And Michael and Drew look at each other. And so Willow starts talking to him. But anyway, Drew kind of overhears, he sees the name of the commune on the table. And Willow says, you know what? I'm deciding to look for my family, my biological parents, my family. And this was one of the early convents that my mother lived in when I was a baby. So Drew, of course, flashbacks to what Carly told him and all of that. But he made a comment about how Harmony was such a liar. And so she goes, did you even know my mother? And that kind of slipped him up stupid, right? So he goes, no, but no, just how she could do what she did and say, and lie to you like that and whatever. He tried to smooth over it, but he tells Michael and Willow, you know what? Would you like me to put some feelers out and look into this? And they looked at each other, and of course they're going to say, yeah. I don't think they really had them say yes on the show, but we could tell they're going to say, yeah, the more the merrier. Look, Drew doesn't know she's Cancer Willow. He just thinks she's don't know my parents Willow. See, oh my God, I don't want people to look at me like I was Commune Willow, Cult Willow, Lost My First Baby's Willow, Teacher Willow. But they, anyway, you know where I'm coming from with that. So now we also have Josh, Carly, of course, met her in the hallway. And Josh ends up taking her mother in because she realized she's over her 19-year-old head. And Carly's like, Jocelyn? And he goes, well, he's been shot. And you know, he goes, what's he doing here? And so she goes, well, you know, I'm trying to help him. And so she goes, did you call Sonny? And she looks, she goes, well, no, because I think he got shot probably because of Sonny. So she goes, well, how? And he goes, well, he hasn't told me. Sonny already knew. I mean, Carly already knew. If you'd have called Sonny, Sonny'd have Dex already doctored up and probably back on the job by now, right? And so Carly just looks at her and Josh goes, will you help us? And I said, oh, we're an us now. Will you help us? So Carly put on her Nurse Carly hat and she looked at the wound and she goes, yep, it's infected. So she goes, he needs antibiotics, Jocelyn. So then Jocelyn says, I know, that's what I was going to get when you saw me in the hall. And Carly looked at her and said, and how were you going to do that, Jocelyn? And she looked at her mother and she goes, I hadn't figured that out yet. She's thinking, because can't you just go to the pharmacy and ask the pharmacist to give me a little amoxicillin? You know, a little penicillin? Sonny Carithos' stepdaughter, you know, or my father's is Jasper Jacks. Can you just float me a little antibiotics? And so Carly looked at her and she says, oh my goodness, like, oh Lord, child, right? Carly says, okay, you don't have to figure it out. I'll take care of it. So Carly takes her phone, goes out, or no, I think she's still in the room. And she goes, Britt. And he answers, because he's there, right? It actually, when the phone rings, he's at the table with Sonny and Nina. And he goes, you know what? I have to take this. And Sonny's like, is everything? I go, yeah, everything's fine. I just got to take this call. So he goes out in the little outer area of the dining room and he goes, Carly, what can I do for you? You know, and he on the phone, like he looking at her, right? And she goes, I need a favor. Do you have a contact in Port Charles? And he goes, I could do you one better. I'm here right now. She goes, you're in Port Charles? And so she goes, oh my goodness, great. Well, he goes, what do you need, Carly? Because now we're only hearing him. What do you need? So I guess she tells him what he needs, she needs. And he tells her, you know, to meet him at his room in the Metro Court. So Jocelyn looks at her mother like, wow, you're getting it done like that? And I'm thinking, Jocelyn, you forget, Carly has connections. She was mob boss Carly when Sonny was in Nixon Falls, right? Isn't it interesting? Carly was mob boss Carly, and Jocelyn was okay. She's okay with Carly stepping in, taking over Sonny's organization. What do you think your mama was doing, Jocelyn? What you think? Yeah. But it's because you're mad at Sonny because he cheated on her. It has nothing to do with what Sonny's been doing all your life that you've known of all of your life. Is he cheated on your mother? That's what you're mad at. So anyway, it was so cute because Carly gets to the Metro Court room and he opens his door and there he goes, almost the same way he was talking to Nina, but he truly, truly likes Carly. And he goes, Carly Corinthos. and looking good as ever. And she always gets this real cute blush, like, oh, stop it, Britt. Stop that. You looking good too, man. And so she goes, and by the way, it's Carly Spencer now. And he goes, well. And he goes, look, come on in here. So she smiles and she's going in his hotel room, and he closes the door. And who comes around the corner looking but Nina? Like, I wonder does Sonny know that his man is sleeping with his ex-wife? I wonder how long has that been going on? I'm gonna have to do some extra digging because it's my business to be in Carly's business, right? I gotta be in Carly's business for Wiley's sake. Gotta be in Carly's business. And I thought, go ahead, Nina, put your foot in your mouth. Go ahead and be Nina, because when Britt was away, no, Britt had walked away from the table. Sonny and Nina were talking, and of course Nina said, Sonny, I tried to go and apologize to Willow, to find Willow, and I found him at the hospital. She was with Michael. And Sonny's like, oh my God, he's just looking at her. And I was just trying to apologize, for what I said about you. And he goes, Nina, why couldn't you stick to the plan and the agreement? Why would you do that? Well, Sonny, I was trying to make things, and she spoke to me so mean, Sonny. She told me to drop dead, Sonny. Sonny's like, you know what? Next time, stay out of it. Stick to the plan. Leave them alone. Okay. She ain't about to stick to no plan. And what I'm loving is Nina's doing this all on her own. Good. Good for you, Nina. See, before Carly was in her face, so she had something to engage with, or Michael's in her face. Everybody's in her face. Nobody's in Nina's face right now. So Nina's trying to get in everybody's business. Nina's trying to put herself. And actually, I'm not just saying Carly was in her face. No, Nina was making sure she was in Carly's orbit so they could fight. Nina was making sure she's in Willow's orbit. She is usually the instigator of all of those fights. It was all her. Sonny just couldn't see it. And a lot of it, he would come in on the tail end. He didn't know she was the starter of these incidences, right? Well, now he's getting ready to really find out how she is. Exactly how she is. Okay? Good for you, Nina. So that was with what happened there. But Sonny's like, just stay out of it. Don't even start that. So we also have Elizabeth. She goes to Spoon Island. She tells Nicholas, thanks, friend. You left me passed out on a dock on a pier. I remember you asking me, do I trust you? Right? Right after Esme had tried to take my phone and I hit my head. Yeah. What happened to you? Where'd you go? I was chasing after her. I was trying to make sure she didn't get away. Well, okay. He goes, well, she says, well, what happened? Well, she got away. Oh, Nicholas, so she got away. Why didn't you come back to check on me? And we're friends. Why didn't you come back to see if I was okay? Right? Nicholas says you're lying. Elizabeth says you're lying and I don't buy it. Don't buy it in the least. Now, what's really going on? And Nicholas, people can put, all you got to do is show a nail and pretend you're going to put it up under his fingernail and he's going to spill everything he knows, right? Okay, did you really find her? And what did you do with her? Where is he goes, no, she won't hurt anybody. And Nicholas is like, I mean, Elizabeth is like, so you know where she's at. Where's Esme? Where is Esme? And you tell me right now, Nicholas. And he goes, so she goes, you know what? That's all right. I'll just pick up the phone and call the cops. No, don't do it. Don't do it. So then the next scene, he's bringing Elizabeth, and as Esme is laying on her bed trying to figure out, I need to figure out how I could turn the tables on him. I'm gonna get him. What would she goes? She told the baby, yeah, you know what, we need your grandfather's advice right now. Mm-hmm. I am a little afraid of him. She is afraid of him, you know? She goes, but he gives some real good advice. She goes, I got to think more like my father. What am I going to do? So she's really trying to turn in her inner cycle, right? So when Nicholas walks in and she's like, now what? And she saw Elizabeth was coming. Oh, oh, help me. And she run and she goes, jumps off the bed, and Elizabeth looks at her and says she's pregnant. And yeah, and he's trying to kill me. He's been holding me for weeks. And I'm thinking it hasn't been weeks, but for weeks. And this and Nick's like, no, I'm protecting everybody. They're both talking over each other to Elizabeth. Like, don't listen to her, listen to me. Like, don't listen to him, listen to me. And so it was really ridiculous. You gotta help me. No, it's so unfair. And this was just looking at the whole thing, and they leave out of there, lock her back in. They go downstairs, and Elizabeth is like, I don't believe you. So she's pregnant. Does Spencer know? And so then he goes, no. And so she goes, Spencer doesn't know. And then somehow she brought out about, he goes, it's not Spencer's child. Well, it's not Spencer's child. Okay, then whose child? You got her locked up, and whose child? She goes, you didn't. And he's just looking like, yeah. He goes, but it was a mistake. Look, it was a mistake. She goes, oh my God, Nicholas, you slept with your son's girlfriend. Oh my God. But she's the killer. I'm keeping, look, I'm only doing this, keeping her here because she can't have her baby in jail. No, Elizabeth goes, he goes, I'm trying to make sure she doesn't hurt anybody else. She goes, thus calling the police, Nicholas. He goes, no, she can't have the baby in jail. She can't have my child in jail. So Elizabeth's looking at him. She got away once, but you know what? No, I've shored up the place. She's not going to get away again. And please don't tell anybody, Elizabeth. And Elizabeth gets a text, right? Because, of course, her father, Jeff's at the hospital. So somebody text her that Jeff Weber's there. And so Elizabeth just like, well, what are you going to do, Liz? What are you going to do? So she takes her coat and she walks on out of there like, you know what? Because he's saying, you cannot trust her. Because she goes, is Esme telling the truth? Because she said, he and Ava tried to kill me. And this, and he goes, no, she ain't telling no truth. See, and that's what I was saying yesterday. Nobody would believe Esme. So I don't know why Nicholas and Ava are worried about her saying they tried to kill me. Well, obviously they didn't succeed, right? Looks like you're being kept in 4-star accommodations, okay, chick? Because your jail cell wouldn't look like this at all. So anyway, Elizabeth, he goes, look what she did to your son, which is the truth. No, don't trust her. So Elizabeth leaves. And in my mind, I'm thinking she's not going to tell anybody. Because for one, Elizabeth's preoccupied. For two, look what she did do to your son, Elizabeth. The revenge porn shame. That kind of screwed him and Jocelyn. Really, that is what's underlying behind their relationship. It's horrible what she did. And was lying to everybody's face, saying it was Trina. What I believe, remember we said Esme's going to need some prenatal care, right? Guess who the prenatal care is going to come from? Elizabeth. Elizabeth's going to make sure Nicholas gets her some prenatal vitamins, make sure she's taking them, right? Because Esme sure didn't have any on her, any in her pocket. She's on the run. Esme's not, she's not doing all her well pregnancy checks at all. At least with Nicholas, she's going to get something. So needless to say, and guess what? In soap opera land, she's going to be having that baby in a month and a half. So that's the way that's going to go. So anyway, we have now Nicholas is worried. So he goes back in and she's saying something. Help me, help me. She's on the floor. Oh, like I need help. And she looks up and she sees it's just Nicholas. She stands up and she goes, okay, you do know you're not getting away with this, right? She was absolutely acting in front of him, snapped right out of it and say, you know you're not getting away with it. Elizabeth's gonna tell. He goes, Elizabeth, I don't know if she is or she isn't, but she sure hasn't. No police will come here. Right? And so Esme's like, well, this is not gonna work, and whatever. I think they left the scene with him still talking to Esme. So Elizabeth arrives at the hospital and there's Jeff and Finn talking to each other. Okay. And with that, she doesn't really know what happened because earlier in the conversation, Finn hit him in the mouth, you know, and I just don't feel like rehashing what Jeff Weber said and Finn said to him because you know what? Even the reasoning of Liz's parents didn't make any sense to me. And I do believe something else is going on there. Something else is going on. So I'm not even buying none of that story that we had to do it because Elizabeth was traumatized. Then because look, a crime was not committed. Elizabeth did not push her down the stairs. Reiko fell down those stairs. Period. Point blank. You take the woman to the hospital, the doctor, we need help. Another doctor got hurt. We found her at the bottom of the stairs. She must have slipped. Okay, so what? Elizabeth was going to tell other people her father had an affair? Okay. People have affairs all the time. But to go to the extremes of brainwashing her so she doesn't remember, giving her a bunch of drugs to sedate her, and then sending her away for pretty much the rest of her life, that was a bit excessive. Because Jeff was supposed to have been there. And him supposedly being there, he would have seen that Elizabeth did not push Reiko. Elizabeth was trying to get out the door, out the stairwell to go tell her mother. And Reiko tried to get in the middle and was all on the outskirts of the stairs and slipped, period. But I do believe, remember when one of Elizabeth's flashbacks, she was down the stairs, moving Reiko's hair, looking at her. And when she looked up, she saw her father at the top of the stairs. Jeff Weber did not see what happened because they were at the door. He'd have been able to reach out and catch Reiko if he was there, but he wasn't. So that's interesting to me. So anyway, that was the General Hospital for today. Let's go to Comment Corner. Let's see what Comment Corner has going on, or what just happened to my comment. There we go. So Comment Corner, LaShunta says, I don't see why Trina's going off on Spencer. He's already depressed. She doesn't know what she wants. She knows she wants Spencer. She just doesn't want to admit what she wants. Liz is right. Nicholas just left her unconscious on the dock. I love it. Temporary Nicholas. I like temporary Nicholas because I've been saying he's a whole fool, meaning the Nicholas, the original Nicholas, the way they were having him act. Josh has got a good heart. And then Cindy says, it's so ridiculous the way people are forever showing up at GH to talk to someone on duty. Why couldn't Jordan have called Portia ahead of time to see if she could talk to her? That's because she didn't want Portia to say, no, you cannot talk to me, right? How did she know Portia wasn't in surgery or something? Portia, Finn, Austin, TJ, Liz all seem to be in their offices except Liz. Liz doesn't have an office. And I don't know, have we ever seen Austin in an office? At the nurse's station or in the hall, or and someone pops up to see him. Yeah, okay, they are in the hall a lot. And then Sidney also says, the guy who's filling in for Nicholas did fantastic. He really did his homework and got the details of Nicholas to a T. I do like Marcus Coloma best. I guess that's the one that's temporarily gone. I don't know what his name was. Although I feel he captures the combination of sensitive and self-serving all rolled into one hot Cassadine man. Well, I don't know that if you're talking about the guy that's on leave right now, I don't know that he's a hot Cassadine man. But then again, I was getting ready to say, tell me one hot Cassadine man, but you know what? I think that Stavros was pretty hot. Was it Stefan or was it Stavros or was it both of them? They were pretty hot, okay, with their crazy mama. Now, Lisa says, I like Austin and Britt together too. Austin and Maxie do not have any chemistry at all. Knowing who the hook killer was at this point doesn't help. Cyrus helping Spencer needs to show. You know what? I truly don't know. I'm beginning to believe Esme's not the hook killer. I just don't think she is now. And then we have Lisa says, who said Marshall was Curtis's dad? Well, when he came back, Aunt Stella did. And he did. He was definitely the one married to their mother. But I think we either gonna find something else out or those tests were completely wrong. Okay. Brad is back in the lab apparently. Dex has a very bad infection in his wound. Yes, he does. And Lisa says Esme is trying to get the guard on her side. He is not going to budge to her side. I don't know. They may make him stupid because look, he just starting to pop up now. Anna Rihanna says, yeah, Trina and Spencer. It'll be another moment, but then they'll be back together again. Yeah, as soon as he gets out of prison, they're going to somehow work their way. It says, when Portia's little secret comes out, Trina will turn to Spencer. Yes, she will. Absolutely. Portia goes off every time she sees Jordan. Jordan doesn't need to tell anyone. Portia will give it away. Something will come out later about those tests where Curtis is concerned. I believe so. I honestly believe so. Jordan sliced and diced Portia. Jocelyn taking care of Dex is Carly and Sunny 2.0. Yeah. Carrie Jod says, I still like Nell. I still think Nell could be the hook killer. She hates the Corinthos and they never found her body. In my opinion, love your show. Well, Carrie Jod, they absolutely did find Nell's water bloated body on the other side of the river. They brought the body to the morgue, and it was Harrison Chase that went in and made the positive identification that it was Nell. Nell's body was definitely found. Steve says, IMO means in my opinion. Well, I never would have figured that out, ever. Thank you. in my opinion. IMO. That never came into my head. IDK means I don't know. I did learn the IDK. I learned that one last month. I just pretend like I didn't know that one, but I never knew the IMO, right? And I know the SMH. And then you know what? When people text you, it took me a long time to understand what GM meant. To say GM, daily recap lady, or they're really using my real name, right? GM and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, on earth is GM? Okay. And then Juanita says, Cyrus gives me the creeps. And she also says, IDK is I don't know, IMO is in my opinion. Juanita also says, Portia could just tell Curtis she doesn't know if he's the father or not. Well, yeah, and she should have said that when he asked her a year or two ago when she first came to town, or they first had her interacting, because Trina's been in town for a long time. So was her mama. They just never had her work at GH. And Lisa says she could have told Curtis she wasn't sure if Trina was his daughter. Yep. He did ask her when she arrived in town, and she said she was very sure Trina was not his child. I know she did say that. Marshall, and then Juanita also says Marshall will probably turn out not to be Curtis's dad. See, maybe he's not Curtis's dad, but he was Curtis's brother Tommy's dad. Could be. Excuse me. NK says, Curtis is not that man's child, LOL. And now we are still trying to figure out if Trina is his. I know, we got who's the daddy going on here. Michael says, why are the writers starting one paternity test when they didn't determine the other paternity? I'm with General Hospital, spoiler lady, the test is wrong, absolutely is wrong. And you know what? You know who's going to have the key to the answer? Stella. Because it's Stella's sister that was married to Marshall. Okay. Now, Stella may honestly think Curtis is Marshall's, or maybe Stella knew all along. Her sister stepped out on him because Marshall was gone a lot. Remember, Marshall was a musician. Marshall was Curtis's mother could have turned to someone else. And Aunt Stella will be the one to know. And if Aunt Stella didn't know, and they say, you know, that is just too strange, there are no markers alike, she could say, you know, there was a period when I could have sworn, I mean, I really felt my sister was seeing someone else, you know. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens. Well, that is General Hospital daily recap for Tuesday, November the 15th. I will be back for tomorrow's General Hospital daily recap.